time is 5 o'clock. Here is the world news at 5. First, the top stories. Ogun Chief Judge frees 13 awaiting trial inmates from Ilaro prison. Buhari presents 8.6 trillion naira 2018 budget bill before the National Assembly. Senate declares excessive crude oil account unconstitutional. Two held in Italy over death of 26 Nigerian women in Mediterranean Sea. On the foreign scene, African Union to reduce troops in Somalia before the year 2018. And DR Congo opposition rejects the opposed timetable. Good evening, I am Kunle. Alaye bringing you the news in detail shortly. State Chief Judge Justice Olopade has freed 13 of inmates at the Ilaro prison awaiting trial as part of moves to decongest prisons in the state. The Chief Judge who ordered the release during her visit to the prison says the decision is in line with the directive of the Attorney General of the Federation that state chief judges should free prisons inmates with minor cases. Olopade explains those being considered in the exercise as mostly inmates with cases date back to a period between the year 2012 and 2014 without case files. He urges stakeholders in the administration of justice to fast-track the trial of cases to achieve the objective of reducing the number of inmates in the prison system. The state chief judge is expected to free more inmates when she continues the visit to other prison formations in the state. The newly elected Ogun State Adebutu-led PDP Executive Committee says it is still in control of the party in the state despite the arraignment of some of its supporters in court for the forceful takeover of the party secretariat in Abeokuta. The committee's chairman Alhaji Sikru Alaye Kunle, speaking to Rocksteady FM in Abeokuta, says PDP National Caretaker Committee has stepped into the fresh crisis in the state chapter of the party. Kunle had led other members of the newly elected executive members on Monday to take over the PDP State Secretariat from the officials of Kashamu State Executive Committee. Armed policemen had since restored to the control of the Secretariat to the Kashamu faction. Addressing newsmen in Abeokuta, Chairman of the Kashamu Executive Committee, Engineer Bayo Dayo, accused Chairman of PDP National Caretaker Committee, Senator Ahmed Makrafi, of deepening the crisis in the Ogun State PDP. He vows to represent Ogun State PDP at the party's national convention coming up in December as leader of the Ogun State PDP delegates. Before the National Assembly in Abuja, assuring it will reinvigorate the economy. Buhari presenting the bill to a joint session of the National Assembly explains that the projected expenditure on revenue and the foreign exchange rate will consolidate on the past project. Buhari says although the implementation of the 2017 budget is facing uncertainties in all fronts, he is optimistic that the year 2018 will be better in the implementation of the budget. In the year 2018, Buhari calls on aggrieved people in the Niger Delta region to engage in dialogue with his administration instead of restoring to threats in articulating their grievances. Meanwhile, the Senate President Bukola Saraki says how the 2018 budget is implemented by the presidency will define the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Saraki, speaking before Buhari presented the 2018 budget bill before the National Assembly, says that projects in the budget must not be overpriced. Nigerians all over the country, according to the Senate President, must also see a future for themselves in the 2018 budget. He also calls for the elimination of unnecessary waste in the implementation of the budget. The Senate has declared the operation of the excess crude oil account by the presidency as illegal and unconstitutional. The upper chamber asked the presidency to pay all oil revenue above the oil price benchmark into the Federation account for sharing by the three tiers of government. The Senate passing the resolution after a debate on a motion raised by Rose Okoro and co-sponsored by 18 other senators asked the presidency to comply with Section 8 subsection 1 to 4 and section 162, subsection 1 to 3 of the 1999 Constitution. Most of the senators during the debate opposed the retention of the special account. The excess crude oil account was established by the Obasanjo administration in the year 2014 to provide savings for the country and stabilize the economy. Two men, an Egyptian and a Libyan, have been arrested and charged in Italy as investigators look into the death of 26 Nigerian women and girls who are suspected to have been murdered while attempting to cross the Mediterranean. The bodies of the women were brought to Italian port of Salerno by the Spanish ship on Sunday, and prosecutors opened an investigation over suspicions that the women, some as young as 14, may have been abused and killed. The pair are believed to be scuppered one of the boats. They were identified by survivors who were among the 375 brought to the Salerno by Cantabria. One of the survivors, Dora Omori, a 23-year-old art student from Bini, Edo State, standing next to a group of weeping Nigerian survivors, insists on continuing the illegal trip to Europe. Omori says she has no future in Nigeria because there are no jobs. Four female suicide bombers have been killed while attempting to sneak into Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. The bombers, however, killed 6 farmers while detonating the improvised explosive device strapped to their bodies. The state police command spokesman Victor Izuko says the incident occurred on Monday night in Tumsu Ngamdi area of the city. One of the suicide bombers detonated the explosive device close to a military checkpoint, while another detonated house near a checkpoint mounted by the Civilian Military Joint Task Force. The explosion killed 6 farmers and 2 of the suicide bombers, while troops shot 2 other suicide bombers who died from the explosion from the explosives hidden in their bodies. You are still listening to the World News at 5 from Rock City 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business, and the sport news. Please do stay with us. African Union AU has announced that up to 1,000 of its soldiers will leave Somalia by the end of this year. The decision to downscale the AU security mission, also referred to as AMISOM, comes in the wake of 2 major bomb attacks in Mogadishu last month, which together left at least 370 dead. Soldiers from Burundi, Kenya, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Djibouti make up the 22,000-strong AMISOM force fighting Al-Shabaab militants. The AU representative to Somalia, Ambassador Francisco Keteno Madeira, has sought to reassure, saying they will work side by side with the government to defeat Al-Shabaab on all fronts. AMISOM troops have also complained of a 20,000 cut in funding in recent times. Democratic Republic of Congo's main opposition parties have rejected a new date for elections announced at the weekend to replace President Joseph Kabila. They say the new date violates the law and a political deal agreed with the government. Originally scheduled for late 2016, the polls have been repeatedly delayed. Following several rounds of deadly protests, Kabila's camp and his opponents signed an accord last December, agreeing to hold the election before the end of this year. On Sunday, Congo's Senior Elections Commission announced that the election, which term limits currently bar Kabila from taking part, will be held on December 23, 2018, with the winner to be sworn in on January 13, 2019. The Senior and government officials blame poll delays on problems registering millions of voters across the vast Central African nation. The opposition accuses Kabila of manipulating the process to clinch the power. Up next is business news. Nestle Nigeria plc has added another brand of the popular Maggi cube to its table. The product, known as Maggi Niger Pulse, is developed by Nigerian chefs, produced in Nigeria with locally known ingredients to enhance the taste of local meal. The product is launched at the company's flagship factory located at the Shagamu interchange of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Speaking at the launch of the company managing director, Mr. Mursiyo Alakan, says the product is aimed at amplifying the authentic Nigerian essence of food, reducing salt and increasing micronutrient fortification. In on the products, the company's category manager, Mr. Nardin Miguel, explains that Maggi Niger Pot is a seasoning cube in Nigeria full of fish flavor with the unique combination of natural smoked fish, stockfish, and crayfish to give soups and proteges the bottom pot taste that Nigerians love. Highlight of the launch included a cooking competition organized for journalists who were conducted around the production plant of the new products in the factory complex. Finally, is sport news. Former Flying Eagles coach Emmanuel Amunike has increased the number of Nigerian coaches plying their trade outside the shores of the country. Amunike, who was touted to be in line to take over his former team Zamalek of Egypt earlier this year on Tuesday, agreed a 2-year deal with the Sudanese Premier League's Al Chatan Watani. He replaces Ghana's national team coach Kwesi Appiah, who resigned his position after he got appointed as the new manager of the Black Stars of Ghana. The team is presently placed 6th on the 18-team table with 46 points, 21 ahead of league leaders Al Merrick, who have 67 points. The first match of Amunike will be away from home against Al Wadi on Saturday. And that was the World News at 5, but just before we go, quick recap of the major stories once again. World News at 5. Ogun Chief Judge frees 13 awaiting trial inmates from Ilaro prison. Buhari presents 8.6 trillion naira 2018 budget bill before the National Assembly. Senate declares excessive crude oil account unconstitutional. Sue held in Italy over death of 26 Nigerian women in the Mediterranean Sea. On the foreign scene, African Union to reduce troops in Somalia before the year 2018. DR Congo opposition rejects new polls timetable. For more stories and to listen to us live, please do log on to our website www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you very much for listening. I am Kunle. Alaye. Good evening.